Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
The good news is that the United Nations Arms Treaty has been defeated. The bad news is almost half of the Senate members seem to be in favor of it. I am Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, in a vote 53 to 46, the Senate narrowly passed a measure that will stop the United States from entering into the United Nations Arms Trade Treaty, which is good news. The bad news is that 46 senators voted with Barack Obama and the United Nations to take this right away from United States citizens with regards to the right to be able to keep and bear arms recognized in the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment doesn't give us the right. It recognizes the pre-existing liberty.
Well, this is in keeping with the current legislation that is before Congress right now. President Obama is pushing to be passed that is a massive, unprecedented gun grab bill. As you point out here, Matt, the good news is this is you can't put our constitutional or unalienable constitutional rights up to a popular vote. There's just no way to do it. And the United States Constitution supersedes any UN treaty that would be in conflict with the United States Constitution. So that the fact that we have 46 United States senators voting to support a treaty that is unconstitutional on its face just shows you where we have come in this nation relative to respect for our United States Constitution. Every one of these 46 individuals has sworn to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, and the statement of purpose in the bill that was actually passed, 53 to 46, says, quote, to uphold the Second Amendment rights and prevent the United States from entering into the United Nations Arms Treaty. The UN Small Arms Treaty, which has been championed by the Obama administration, is one that would effectively place a global ban on the import and export of small firearms. The ban would have affected all private gun owners in the U.S. and had language that would ultimately have implemented an international gun registry on all private guns and ammo. You'd have to register your ammo. Now, there's some countries in the world that actually you have a certain amount of ammo you can buy a year. Small, and it's registered by the government. You know, in this country, we decided that that's not the direction. That's not the kind of country we want. So the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. That was necessary to freedom. A well-regulated militia is necessary to freedom. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It's not saying that the people have a right. It says the right of the people. Where does the right of the people come from? Well, it doesn't come from the Second Amendment. It comes as a pre-existing, unalienable right of liberty. And the Second Amendment just recognizes that this right of the people shall not be infringed. Now, I'm more of an absolutist on this. I'm more of a, original intent person on this. The right of the people should not be infringed. I think gun registration infringes on that right. I think a lot of these other laws that we currently have in existence infringe on that right, but certainly these other proposed laws would definitely infringe on that right.
We shouldn't be surprised. The Second Amendment speaks directly to the right of the citizen to protect itself from a burgeoning government that has become tyrannical or oppressive. So why should we be surprised that the international progressive movement, which heads up many of the governments across the nation, including right now the United States of America, why should we be surprised that they would want to disarm the American people across the world so that they are incapable of protecting themselves? That gives the government, the New World Order, if you will, the progressive New World Order, Matt, the ability to impose its will against a defenseless subordinate constituency.
Well, in fact, what we have here is the First Amendment that says that you have the right to be able to freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. You have a right to petition your government. So if your government is doing one thing or another, you have a right to be able to petition the government, a right that is not obviously available around the world. People in other countries don't have that right to petition their government. Their heads will be chopped off. Now, if that petitioning ultimately is ineffective, the Second Amendment goes to another level. A well-regulated militia is necessary to freedom and a free state. Therefore, it goes on to say, the right of the people shall not be infringed. The right of the people to keep and to bear arms shall not be infringed. Not only to keep them, but also to actually carry them, to bear them, shall not be infringed. And the reason why that's there is to protect the government, protect the people, when the government doesn't listen to the people under the First Amendment. The Second Amendment is that backup clause, that necessary foundational freedom. We have people today that obviously politically correct. They want to stop what your viewpoint is if they don't agree with it, and then they want to also disarm you so that you can't have a well-regulated militia or have the right to be able to defend yourself.
Yeah, you know, Matt, what I find particularly nauseating about all this too is the left's, the gun grabbers, just almost chomping at the bit every time something like the Sandy Hook shooting occurs, so that they can exploit these horrific violations of law. Most oftentimes, in instances where an individual, such as in Sandy Hook, he stole the guns that he used.
Universal background checks.
Yeah, none of that would have
worked. Helped at all in that situation. In fact, if you look at any one of these in Aurora, Colorado, Sandy Hook, any of these, all of these proposals for restrictions would not have affected whatsoever those situations.
Well, Connecticut has some of the strictest gun laws on the books. It just, again, shows you that these gun laws apply to and restrict lawful citizens, citizens who want simply to have the ability to defend themselves. It targets law-abiding citizens and leaves them vulnerable to both a potentially tyrannical government, Matt, and vulnerable to the kinds of mass murders that we see going into places like Sandy Hook. If a handful, if 5 or 6 of these employees, well-trained, had been armed, and a sign on the door that said, we have armed, trained staff. Any attempts to hurt children on these premises will be met with deadly force. This lunatic might have thought twice before entering into Sandy Hook and taking the lives of all those precious children.
Sandra Froman, who's an attorney in Arizona and Tucson, and she was currently a board member of the NRA and former president of the National Rifle Association. She was talking about gun registration, or I should say concealed weapon permits in Arizona, and that the crime rate against those who have concealed weapons permits in Arizona is actually lower than the crime rate even against police officers, who obviously are able to carry. But the crime rate against the people who have concealed is lower than other people as well. The crime rate actually has lowered for those because you're able to secure yourself, or someone knows that you're having a house where someone has a weapon there, and the next house doesn't have a weapon, where's the burglar going to go? We're going to go, obviously, in the house that doesn't have the weapon.
Matt, you're from Florida. We saw that once Florida loosened its restrictions on conceal and carry laws and basically allowed everyone in Florida to go through a process within reason, convicted felons and so forth excluded, but to carry, criminals are cowards, and they're going to go after the person who they view as weak. If they're walking around and they see a grandmother with her purse or with a little jacket on, and they don't know whether or not she's packing a .357 Magnum, they're going to be more reluctant to assault that individual because they might get their head blown off. So this is common sense stuff. And unfortunately, we have these gun grabbers like Barack Obama who want to take away our ability to defend ourselves.
And I'm opposed to some of these other regulations that are being discussed in Congress right now, the universal checks and other mental health situations as well. None of those are going to stop crime, none of them. But they ultimately will make a foundation for a registry, like what the UN Arms Treaty was seeking to do, to register your guns. Why do they want to know? Why does the government need to know that you have a weapon? Why do they need to know that you have 30 rounds or 1,000 rounds of ammunition? It's none of their business. Give us a call at Liberty Counsel if you know of issues that affect your family, faith, or freedom. Our website is lc.org. Our phone number is 800-671-1776. We have a booklet that will be available very quickly. It's going to be part of the Patriot's Handbook on that we have done on religious freedom and other liberties, and this one will be on the Second Amendment. So call us and ask for that. Be patient. We'll be able to get that to you as soon as it comes off the printer. Call 800-671-1776.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.